Okay, welcome everybody. Continuing on to system number 9, which is the urinary system. Objective of this system is to identify the parts of the urinary system, and then also the functional unit of the kidney and what it does, which is the nephron in this case, how the filtration happens through it and how blood supply go in there and all that stuff. But first, let's take a quick view on the anatomy of the urinary tract right here. And we can see what it consists of. It's pretty simple. We have arteries, gland, more arteries and veins. We got the kidney itself, which is the main organ, the blood supply, the ureter, where the final where the urine finally reach or being dumped into the bladder, and from the bladder to the urethra. Okay, so between the urethra and the ureter, and what's kind of mouthfuls to pronounce, there is the bladder. So the kidneys filter the blood from waste, and that waste will be sent down to the urethra, to the liver, to the bladder. And then from the bladder, it's going to be emptied out from the body through the urethra. Male and female urinary system is identical, the same. Okay, so if you can look at the anatomy right here, we see a vena cava, which is the largest vein in the body. And we see the aorta, which is the largest artery in the body. So they run all the way to the heart. Now we also see a supply also of blood, vein and artery to the kidney, and they're called renal artery and renal vein. So that's the supply to the kidney itself. We talked about the endocrine gland, right, in the endocrine system, and it sits right on top of both kidneys right here. And that's pretty much everything you need to know from this view. We'll open up the kidney and you'll see also how it's structured inside. The ileum is the opening right here you see to the kidneys. Okay, now we talked in the nervous system that there is the neuron, which is the functional unit in the nervous system. In the urinary system, it's the nephron. So the kidneys, their job is to efficiently filter blood. So it's an efficient blood filtration system. So the blood continuously cycles through the body. One full cycle of blood in our body takes a minute. So the kidney will keep filtrating that blood over and over and over and over. Okay? So it never takes a break, the kidneys. And the functional unit is called the nephron, and this is the nephron. We'll explain it in a second. So the nephron is your functional unit of the kidney, and it filters plasma from the blood. Now, where is the kidney located? Right behind the 10th rib, right? We have 12th rib and the last two are floating ribs, right? That 11 and 12. So they're right behind your 10th rib. If you just take your hand behind your ribs and see if you can get to the ending, okay, right there is your kidneys. So that's also one of the area of caution for massage, that we don't massage pressure or anything in that area because we don't want to affect the kidneys. And what holds the kidneys in place is fibrous connective tissue and fatty tissue. So the fatty tissue will help cushion that area and protect it. And and there's fibrous material, or like fascia type of connective tissue that holds the kidneys in place. So even though there's stuff that holds it in place, it's still a fragile place. So we must be careful. So besides that it filtrates blood, kidneys also they store and eliminate urine. So two main jobs. Like we explained earlier in the picture, the urethra with the A at the end, transports urine from the bladder to the out of the body, so outside, okay? So the urethra is from the body to the outer environment. Whatever helps you kind of remember. Okay, what else we didn't mention? So again, the nephron, which is the functional unit of the liver, there's about 2 to 3 million of them in about each kidney. So there's tons of them. They're tiny, tiny, small. So each day, these nephrons, which is these ones right here, they filter about 40 to 50 gallons of plasma from the blood. So if we just think about it for a moment, your body contains about, in liters, about 4.5 to 5.5 liters of blood, because you know what a liter look like, right? Like 2-pint glasses or something. If we take that into gallons, so there's about 1.5 gallons of blood in your body. So again, we said the blood keeps circulating in your body, and as it circulates, every time it's going to be filtered again and again and again. So that's how we come to the 40 to 50 gallons of plasma that the nephron filter every day. It's pretty large. And there's also 99% of this fluid gets reabsorbed back into the bloodstream. So it's not getting disposed of it. So the plasma gets filtered and back again to the blood, almost all of it, except for 1%. Cool. So we talked kidney excrete, okay. For the uterus, which is from the transport water from the waste product to the bladder. So before the bladder, so the uterus is inside the deeper than the urethra, okay? So it transports water and waste product, which is urine, to the bladder. Bladder is just a reservoir that stores urine, okay? And the urethra transports urine from the bladder out to the body. Now, other things about the bladder structure is you need to know it's hollow, nothing inside, and it's controlled by involuntary muscles, okay? So we cannot voluntarily contract the bladder unless we get the urge to empty the bladder that it's sensed by another organ, which is a sphincter, which is a voluntary one, okay? So I'll explain that again so you guys don't forget it. But as you know, the bladder is an involuntary muscle. And it has the walls of it that are able to contract, of course, to empty. Okay, now the bladder acts like a reservoir, like we said, and there is sensors where the bladder accumulates. So after the bladder fills about a cup worth, then the sensors, okay, or the sphincter on the end of the bladder will sense that the bladder is full, okay? So it's kind of time to go and use the bathroom. When that happens, there's a feeling of emptying that needs to happen, or another word that they will ask you called voiding. So voiding or emptying the bladder is the feeling that the bladder will get after the sensor feel that heaviness in the bladder. And then the bladder contracts and urine passes through the urethra and out of the body, okay? Now you have urine analysis. It's a chemical examination of the urine. So a healthy urine should be yellowish or shades of yellow. It depends on what you're eating and all that stuff, how much hydration you have. If there's a change in color, that would indicate infection. Could be yellowish color, brownish color, reddish color. It depends what's in there. So if there's an infection, could be presence of white blood cells or blood, chemicals, metabolic imbalance, infection, all kind of things like that. So you know it's unhealthy at all. You shouldn't have any color beside the shades of yellow in the urinary system. Other functions of the kidney also include maintaining water balance and acid-base balance also. The kidney also produces this hormone renin, which acts as to regulate blood pressure in the body. So other functions is water balance, acidity balance, having a proper pH, and the production of this hormone, which helps in regulating the blood pressure. So besides the kidneys being the place where we filter blood, where we produce urine, it's a place where we balance the fluids and the acidity, and a place of regulation for the blood pressure.
Interesting.
Yeah, super interesting. I'm going to show you guys a video right now to kind of see the process of the nephron. But let's stop the recording right here and then we'll show you how it goes.